Hi, vlog. Anyway, what are your thoughts on clowns? I used to hate them. What do you think?
Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another checklist vlog. This week's vlog is going to be on It from 1990, starring Tim Curry. We're gonna go check out some of those awesome filming locations. Let's go check them out, but don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy. All right, let's go. All right, you guys, so we are headed into Stanley Park to go check out Beaver Lake. You guys, so this path we're walking on right here is where you would have seen the Losers Club walking down. It's pretty overgrown in the movie, but they've made a really nice walking path out there right now. Now, over here, across the lake, is where you would have seen the sewer that would have been right here, that building. I don't know if that was added in post or if they actually built a facade out here. There would have been a bunch of sewers sticking up out of the water, and this is where Ben would have seen his dad turn into Pennywise. This is also where, when Ben's looking for his dad, he sees the skeleton. It would have been right here at this lake. You know what? It's crazy being here. Like, if you ask people, 95% of the time, the reason why they're scared of clowns is probably because of this movie. And because Tim Curry did such a good job, right?
Yes.
I think it's just awesome being here and seeing the behind the scenes of such a movie that has freaked out generations now. So a bunch of scenes would have been filmed at this lake itself, where the Losers Club make their pact to go fight it in the sewer, where Ben comes and sees his dad, like I've said before. But we're going to another location that is just steps away, and that's where the Losers Club builds their dam, where they sit down and they look at the photo book of Derry and they see Pennywise's hand stick out of the book. We're gonna go check that out right now. Right now we are walking through the Ravine trail. We're just gonna come up to where the bridge is and where they built the dam. I haven't been in BC for a long time. I've been in Ontario and California, as you've seen in the last vlog with Lost Boys, but it's great to be back with these huge trees. I think it's really amazing, like even back here, the trail has been fairly well kept. Like, I don't know if that was set deck in the movie that made it look overgrown, or if that was the actual trail itself back in '90 while they were filming. But this is a beautiful walking path. It looks awesome in here. Okay, in all honesty, I was here yesterday and I did that shot, and I just came back to get a couple more shots. That's probably why you can see two different shirts in this part of the vlog. I've been practicing my manual focusing. As you might be able to tell in some of these shots, they might not be fully in focus. But if they aren't, and I just had to channel my inner Patrick Swayze from Dirty Dancing to get over here, and they're out of focus, oh, I'm not gonna be a happy guy. So we've made it to the location where the Losers Club would have built a dam right here, and it would have overflowed, and they would have got kicked out by the cop who came down here. This is also where Ben would have ran from Bowers and Belch. They would have came right down here and started kicking the dam, the stupid baby dam. Yeah, this is where the Losers Club would have really become connected. They would have sat on a log right around here and read the book where they would have found out about Pennywise. And they would have looked at the photo in Pennywise's hand, would have came out from the book and scared the living crap out of them. And this is where Bill would have been standing, turned around, going, "You killed my brother George, you bastard. Where are you now?" That's my favorite line out of this entire film because of the way the actor says bastard. It makes me laugh every single time. And yeah, I thought that this is probably one of the most important locations for me just because of that little fact. What'd you think of my line reading?
10 out of 10.
All right, you guys, I just wanted to take a second. The last clip was an actor named Jonathan Brandis, and he had starred in a bunch of movies over his career, but unfortunately he passed away in 2003 due to his struggles with mental health. And I wanted to take a second in the video just to say, if you're ever struggling with mental health, please reach out talk to somebody, whether that's a friend, family member, or a professional, please don't struggle in silence. All right, let's get back into the video. I hope you guys are enjoying it. Now, over here is actually a walkway. So in the second half, when John Ritter's character, or Ben, the older version, would have came to Derry, he would have drove up here in a cab. You can see in the background, he would have stopped the cab here and walked down. And he would have been standing right here. Frickin' John Ritter was here. Three's Company, John Ritter. Wild. Funny story, his son, Jason Ritter, actually came to Vancouver and filmed Freddy vs. Jason. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to see that video. This is also where the Losers Club practices their targets and they hit the glass bottles. This is amazing. Like, I wonder if some of these rocks here are still from the movie that they built the dam with. All right, let's get on top of the bridge and I'll show you a couple locations from that view. All right. So, right on top of this bridge, you can see in the movie Bill riding on his bike across here. Pretty cool. What do you think? So we are now on top of the bridge. We're in the middle of it. If you look down here, that's where we were. And then we walked up the trail that John Ritter would have came up in the movie. But we're going to go check out where his taxi stopped. So right behind Mercedes and me, you could have seen the taxi stop right there. Now you can tell that this is the location, well, besides the bridge, obviously, but you can tell by this trailhead right here, it's been here since 90. It just didn't have this wooden post to mark it off. But John Ritter's taxi would have been driving right down the street. You can see it behind his head in the back seat. And he would have realized that this is where the Losers Club hung out all those years ago. So now, walking across to the other side of the bridge, where that walkway is going down to the Ravine Trail, this is where the taxi would have stopped and he would have told them to wait, hold on, I'm coming back, and he would have went down to the ravine. That shot will be right here. So right behind us, where we're standing, would have been where the taxi stopped for Jason Ritter, and that's the shot right here. This is also where they drive and they stop at the end of the movie, Richie and all the rest of our heroes, and they stop right here in Richie's Camaro. And they would have parked and talked about if they're really going to go down there and fight it. And yeah, it's right here. Now, the way that you can tell that this is where Ben is by this post. When he hops back into the taxi, you can see this in the background, as well as the signs as they drive away. Now, they would have driven down this road right here. And then in the backseat of the taxi, you would have seen the balloon. Honestly, it's wild being at these locations because I've wanted to go to them since I moved to Vancouver, and that was like 4 years ago now. What else is pretty interesting about this movie is Seth Green's in it. It's weird seeing him as like a little kid in this movie, but he does a pretty good job. He actually makes me laugh a couple times in the movie.
Yeah.
All right, that's all we have for these locations. We're gonna meet up with you at another very prominent location. All right, you guys, so our next location is Beverly's house, and this is a big location in the movie. You can see Ben and Bill and Beverly walking back after they've built the dam and dropping her off at the house, and this is where she believes that Bill has written the poem that Ben has actually wrote. And you can also see the house across the street, as well as the alley that they walk through to get to Bev's house. Now, when Beverly comes back in 1990, you can also see the house. She would have walked up and she would have met this older woman who invites her in for tea. But it turns out to be one of Pennywise's tricks, and a creepy trick at that. Alright, you guys, hopefully you can see this footage. It is super dark down this street behind me, but we're still gonna try. Alright, let's go check it out. So we just made it to the location where Georgie would have been floating. The SS Georgie down this curb right here and running down the road, and he would have ended up at the sewer where we see Pennywise. Now here on the corner of Liverpool and 3rd, this is where the drain would have been. So yeah, right here, this drain is where Pennywise would have ripped Georgie's arm off. I mean, to be standing here in one of the most famous scenes out of this movie. It's pretty cool. It's pretty rad. Just right here in the middle of a random street in New West. Wild. Alright, you guys, on to the next location. God, this is such a blast. Now we're walking up to where the last scene of the movie takes place, where Bill takes Audra and takes her down the hill to try to wake her up. Now Bill would have rode Silver down this hill right here, trying to wake up Heather, and succeeding in the end. And that's the final scene of It 1990. Now this is the hill they would have went down, and they would have stopped right at this light right here. And you can tell by that little bridge that that car's driving over right there to go to the parking lot in this shot right here when it turns into a drone shot. But down the road, there's another filming location, and that one will be our last one. Let's go check it out. All right, you guys, we just made it to our last filming location for this week's checklist. This right here is the Paramount. Now, the Paramount was used in a ton of shots in this movie. This was in the opening credits scene right here. The camera would have been higher, probably would have been right up here beside this building, catching the entire sign out. They came here to see a movie in the movie, and this is where they spilt the pop and the popcorn all over Bowers and the other bullies. You would have seen them run right down the street, around the corner. Now the building right here behind my big fat head is actually torn down. So this is where Richie would have been driving down the road in his Camaro, and he would have saw that the Paramount was for lease. And then the sign would have changed to read Richie, 1950 to 1990. And he would have screamed out, "Not that Paramount, you slime balls. Where are people in this city supposed to get their culture?" Right here. One of my freaking favorite lines. It used to make me laugh all the time. Now, in real life, this isn't actually a movie theater. This is a gentleman's club. I don't know for sure what movie theater they were actually filmed in. Alright, you guys, I just met a super awesome dude. He's a photographer, and I followed him on Instagram. He has really good work. This is his Instagram right here. Go check it out. It's super awesome. So right here would have been the pharmacy. This would have been a low angle right behind me right here. And this is where Eddie would have gone and got his puffer, or battery acid as he calls it later on in the film. Alright, so we are on the side of where the pharmacy used to be. This is where Mike would have been getting bullied by Bowers. Now, across the street, there would have been a shop owner right here on the corner that screams at them to stop bullying him. And they would have tried to light off a firecracker, but this guy helps out Mike. And then Mike, while they're distracted with the shop owner, takes his book from Belch and starts booking it down the street. This would have all been a building with a barbershop and shoe repair. It's still pretty cool that they used all practical locations here, other than the sewer and stuff like that. But it's pretty wild seeing these locations. Alright, you guys, I hope you enjoyed this week's checklist. Now, next week's video is going to keep in line with the horror, spooky, Halloween-y movies for the month of October. We're going to go check out one of the sequels of the Final Destination film franchise, and you guys are going to come along with me next week. Alright, go out, have yourselves a great week, and tune in next Friday to check out some of the locations from Final Destination. Alright, peace.